Hello and welcome to next generation of BYOM and auto tracking technology powered by Dante and Lumens. Today's webinar is sponsored by Audinate's Dante and Lumens and produced by AV Technology. My name is Scott Becker. I'm here for AV Technology and I'm excited to be your moderator for this timely discussion. Now, before we get to today's great content, we have a few housekeeping items that are going to help you get the most out of this session. First off, we want this to be an informative event for you, so we encourage any questions in the questions box in your webinar control panel. So not only will we have team members responding to questions during the live event, but we'll also have a dedicated Q&A session at the end of the presentation where we'll discuss in greater detail some of the top questions that you ask. The Q&A panel is also the place to let us know just about any technical issues that you might be experiencing. A browser refresh will fix most audio, video, or slide advancement issues. But if that doesn't work, just let us know there in the Q&A and we'll provide further technical assistance. Now, second, in the handout section of your webinar control panel, you'll find that we're offering several resources. I'd like to call your attention to a bunch of links in there. There's one to the Lumens website. There's one to Cam Connect Pro. There's one to Capture Vision LC300. And then there's also one for Lumens OIP N60D Dante AVH. So be sure to check those out. Check those resources out and feel free to share them with your friends and colleagues. Now, third, at the end of this webinar event, we will be awarding a $250 Amazon gift card to one lucky registrant. Of course, you must be in attendance during the live event to qualify for the prize. Official terms and conditions of today's prize drawing can be found in the handout section. Just scroll to the bottom and you'll find the link with the details there. And finally, one of the best benefits of this event is the opportunity to ask a question of our expert presenter. So to help encourage those questions, we have a special additional prize for you. That's another Amazon gift card, this one for $50 for the best question. So after the event is over, we'll look at all the questions that came in, pick out the very best one, and contact that prize winner. Okay. With all of that housekeeping out of the way, let's get to today's panel discussion. So it's my pleasure to introduce you to our presenters today. We've got, a huge list of presenters here today. We're not going to have quite that many people on the call. Unfortunately, some of these folks aren't joining us. We had a practice call last week. Chester Lee, Vice President of Sales at Lumens, for North America. He sounded just rough, just really coming down with something. It's got him. He's completely under the weather, so he couldn't join. And then Andrew Malazzi graciously agreed, and we had an attack of the technical gremlins this morning. Couldn't get him online, but no problem. We have the capable Joris Nevins. He's a general manager from Lumens Europe. He's going to be handling that Lumens portion, so we're in good hands there. Hey, Joris. Then we also have Catherine Taub, who's product marketing manager for video for Audinate. Hey, Catherine, thanks for joining us. And then we also have Dalton Parker, who's director of sales and marketing at TVS Pro. Dalton, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, I'm going to turn things over to you guys to take it away, and then I'll be back for the Q&A.
All right, Scott, thank you very much for starting this presentation. And we'd like to start for thanking everybody to make the time here today to listen to the presentation. Today, we are delighted to inform you a bit more of why Dante audio and video is a great choice for all your hybrid meeting rooms, courtrooms, for all your AV installations. We will do this starting from 4 pillars. We will talk about the ecosystem, centralized management, security, and unified AV streaming. And to start talking about the ecosystem, I would like to give the speaking stick to Catherine so she can start presenting.
Great. So hopefully most of you on this call are already familiar with Dante AV over IP technology, but I'll give a brief reintroduction here for those that maybe aren't. Dante was initially designed to replace those point-to-point connections, mostly for audio, and replace that with the network. The reason for doing this include access to less expensive, lighter, for live sound that's particularly important, and longer distance cabling, as well as more flexibility and scalability of the sort of AV networks that you can build as once your devices get on the network, they can send audio to any other device on the network logically with just the click of a button, rather than having to go and physically change those cables out. So Audinate and Dante have come a really long way since we were first developed in 2006. As a technology that was originally designed mostly for ease of setup for large live AV systems. We've now gained adoption throughout different verticals, including the commercial installation market, primarily due to being able to use Dante on commercial off-the-shelf networking infrastructure. There are more than 600 manufacturers making over 4,000 products with Dante enabled, meaning that Dante has 12 times the market adoption of the closest competitor. But Dante is more than just media transport. We've evolved beyond just audio and now adding video to Dante. So when a product supports Dante, it means it's a consistent experience from product to product, regardless of vendor. We offer software endpoints to easily bring Dante audio and video into the computer, really important for conferencing. We also offer management with Dante Domain Manager or Dante Director that gives you a little more control over your AV network, and I'll be talking quite a bit about that later. Security is at the top of our mind, so when you're installing onto sort of corporate enterprise networks, you know that your Dante devices will pass those security checks. And then, of course, we have training and support for both end users and integrators, as well as engineering resources for manufacturers to be able to bring products to market a little bit faster. So with that said, I'll turn it over to Joris to discuss why Lumens wanted to join the Dante ecosystem as one of the early Dante AV adopters.
Yeah, thank you, Catherine. So as you can see on this slide, we are not the first. There are already a lot of brands who work together with Dante to bring you, in most cases, the best audio experience. But now Lumens, we want to step in to not only bring a good audio experience, but also a video experience. And what do we mean by that? You see, you have a slide here, and when you look at it, a lot of products that today work with Dante, they are microphones, speakers, DSPs, so audio related. What do we want to bring here to the table? We want to bring encoders, decoders, cameras, lecture capture systems, so basically video devices that can bring a total solution on the AVH platform. I will now discuss shortly a bit of our products, and we will go later into depth about them. So the first is, you see, these are the world first encoder and decoder over the Dante AVH platform. So what can the decoder do? That's the black box on the left. What it can do is it will take Dante AVH video streams and Dante AVH audio streams that are on the network, and then it can decode these signals and hand them over USB. So that means if you have a Teams call, a Zoom call, you only need one little decoder who can take your high quality audio and video and give it to you over USB-C. This decoder can do it also over HDMI at the same time if you want. And then on the right side, you see our brand new encoder. This encoder can take in an HDMI or a DisplayPort over USB-C and convert that again to Dante AVH and to Dante audio that you can route separately to your desired destinations. And then we can also make this into a bit more of a transcoder, but that we will explain later over a more in-depth schematics. And then what we will bring also to the table is not only encoders and decoders, but we will also bring a TR60A with Dante camera, which is a 6 beamforming microphones, not for audio, camera that can detect where the sound is coming from, and then using the 12 times optical zoom 4K lens on the top to pick the person out and then send that over the Dante AVH network to your receiver. In the middle, you see our CamConnect processor. Our CamConnect processor is a box that listens to multiple microphone brands, get the sound location, and then will send a camera to that position so you can create the best meeting equity that is possible. Now we're doing it only over video, but we will also add the Dante AVH sound into that to give you, again, a one single cable experience. And then as a last product range that we will enable onto the Dante AVH platform is our media processor. This is a multi-channel switcher 4K that can take in multiple Dante AVH streams, and then also the audio to record them and stream them independently. So now we can continue again with Catherine, who will tell us a little bit more about centralized management on the Dante platform.
Great. So there are a couple ways that we can control and manage our Dante systems. The most common one that you can use for free with all of your Dante devices is Dante Controller. We're routing our devices using that. We're configuring them. And then we have our Dante management solution. So unmanaged is just using Dante Controller. Once we enroll devices into one of the management solutions, either the software as a service-based SaaS, Dante Director. So that one we host the server in the cloud for you. You just need to have your devices hit that address with a certain port. We have a whole guide on like configuring your network to set that up. And then, or Dante Domain Manager, if you either have your own virtual server infrastructure, you want to install it on a hardware server on-prem, or you have your own private cloud you want to install it into. So all of these are going to give you more control, management, visibility into your Dante network. So Dante Controller on its own is going to let you see all of your devices on a single network. This is all of your audio, all of your video devices, both show up in Dante Controller, are routed and configured the same way. It's true plug and play operation. We use human readable names for your devices so you can organize your systems to be able to see all of your devices. Independently routable audio and video channels, so really easy to combine your audio channels from your video devices back into a purely audio system. And then if we want to do a bit of like narrowing down and making the system easier to use, we have filters that allow us to focus on specific devices. We can do that either by name or by information about the device, like what video codec is in use. Once we enroll these devices into one of the management platforms, we get the ability to organize them into groups with independent management. So we can create separate groups for rooms, spaces, buildings, or applications, and then we can assign different users to these different sites or domains. Dante Controller then will only show you the devices that you're working with in that specific site or domain, which is going to reduce the visual clutter that you see on screen and make it easier to read and manage and make fewer mistakes. You're not going to accidentally route your audio and video to some non-in-room device sharing, content you shouldn't be to somewhere else. With Dante Controller, it's really easy for anyone to get on your Dante network and see your audio and video devices. Any computer can quickly access that. It's fast and intuitive for sort of those dedicated AV settings. But once we get onto the converged network, we might not want everybody to see our devices. So that's where user access control comes in. So with Manage Dante, with Dante Director, or Dante Domain Manager, we're only allowing those selected users to access your network. There's mandatory user authentication to be able to see any of your devices in Dante Controller. We can delegate domains or sites to trusted people. We can set what level of privilege they have, whether it's none at all, view only, just make routes, or full access, able to configure devices and so forth. And then with Dante Domain Manager, we have LDAP and Active Directory integration, and we are working towards additional sort of like modern sign-on methods as well for the future. Additionally, we can do even more control with the Manage Dante. So it includes a GraphQL API. This would allow managed service providers to bring in, or your end users, AVIT teams, to be able to bring in all of that sort of telemetry data, whether it's information about device latency, connections, drop packets, into a single pane of glass monitoring system. We could also integrate that into servicing ticketing platforms. And also that means we can connect to existing or create our own custom control systems for your Dante devices. Right now, this supports changing routes, but in the future, this would support things like being able to push mass updates to like your resolution of your cameras or which sample rate your devices are doing. In Dante Controller, We give you some basic network monitoring tools that can help you sort of address how your system is functioning. With the latency monitor, we see when packets are arriving and if there are any drop packets. With the clock log and histogram, we see if there are any issues with sync, which is important, as if there are, your audio mutes. And then we also have bandwidth usage, so we can see if we're overloading any links on the network. So that's kind of a good start to information, but with Manage Dante, you're going to see everything you need to know how your system is functioning at a glance. So being able to see, okay, I have device connectivity issues, I can go and fix those before they become a problem for any of the meetings that are happening or an event that I'm running. And also a complete audit log, which is important for security, we'll talk about, with any changes that occur to devices, with any failures that occur with devices, and it also will tell you who made those changes. So for the conferencing space, Dante really streamlines conferencing with easy setup of high quality audio and video. Hardware endpoints and audio and video software endpoints allow you to connect into those UC applications. With Managed Dante, you're getting what AV and IT teams want in this sort of converged network space, where we're securing conferencing spaces, defining user access to each one separately, ensuring audio is only going and video is only going to the right places. We prevent mistakes by easily isolating spaces. We can manage multiple sites over a single pane of glass, and we get that full audit log that security wants. So I wanted to ask Dalton, now, if you had anything to kind of add as an integrator working with Dante Controller or any of the Managed Dante software platforms.
Yeah, thank you, Catherine. As you mentioned, with the Dante controller and the software suite with Dante, it makes our job as an integrator extremely easy. We can see all of the devices as they go online in real time and making the troubleshooting process almost non-existent. If a device isn't popping up online, then we know exactly where that problem is. If the device is online, we can route it to wherever we need to, if that's within the integrated system or if we have separate troubleshooting channels or whatever troubleshooting we need. The flexibility that Dante offers is key, and the software that goes along with Dante and Dante Controller makes our job extremely easy.
Great, thanks. So I'll just move on a little bit more in depth to security. We talked a bit about user access control, but that's not really the only thing that we're thinking about when it comes to security with Dante. As IT teams start to manage the devices that are on the network, they care about what those devices are, they care about what data is stored, and who has access to those devices. So we really want to be able to, some things that we can bring to the table is proactively patching and updating against any security vulnerabilities. As soon as we make an update to Dante firmware, that goes out to manufacturers across the board, and they can use that patch that we've created for their devices. So really a good way if no one has to reinvent the wheel and re-engineer everything themselves. Also, increasingly, people are asked for third-party risk evaluation assessments and questionnaires, especially in the European Union. And we really want to make that easy to make those assessments easy to complete. So over the next couple months, we're definitely releasing more and more data about Dante and Secure Dante. So we care about security on a couple different levels with Dante. So the first is at the device level. So that's enabling secure boot on the device, secure firmware updates, and patching of OS vulnerabilities across the entire Dante platform. This is also really important, making sure no one can just like telnet into your device and make changes that kind of way. That's kind of the device level. On the network level, with Managed Dante, we do encrypted control, user authentication, support what's called network segmentation, which is when you have devices secured off into different VLANs. So you're either able to manage those separate VLANs through the dashboard, or you can even route audio and unicast video across separate VLANs with Managed Dante. And of course, having that event loggings that makes support easier, makes security easier, knowing what's been done on the network and seeing where there are issues. And then the new one that we're introducing to manufacturers next year, early next year, we'll be talking a ton about it at the ISE trade show, is manufacturer interoperable media encryption. So using AES 256 encrypted keys, you'll be able to actually encrypt the audio at first, because that's the most important to encrypt. That's where most of the data is. But then following that would also be encryption of video. All right, so let's learn a bit about Dante AV with yours.
All right. So We are talking here the whole time about Dante AV, and maybe it's not known for everybody, but there are three flavors. You have Dante AVH, Dante Ultra, and Dante AVA. So Lumens, we decided to follow the Dante AVH protocol because there we can combine a low bandwidth with a reasonable low latency and a combination of audio and video into our encoders, decoders, and cameras. But we just want to let know that everybody that we have also existing at Dante AVH Ultra and at Dante AVA, which are a higher bandwidth but a lower latency streaming protocol that exists on the Dante platform. But when we are now saying we are following Dante, we are doing Dante AVH. We have here a graph where you see where Dante AVH is standing. We have a good latency with a few frames of latency, but what is very nice is we have a low bandwidth. That means you can use Dante AVH in every existing network without having the fear to overload your switch or something on the network. And it also secures you to combine audio and video together. We will send you the presentation, so if you want to look at the rest of the items, you can do that later. And then we also wanted to point out a big difference between Dante AVH and RTSP. Dante AVH has a lower latency. As Catherine already discussed, this is from the company on. There's a high priority on the security side, securing your package. And what is very, as Dalton said, very useful for any integrator, there is a centralized management platform around it. And it can do audio and video. So that's why Lumens decided to go full on the Dante AVH platform. But now we've talked about the theory, and now we want to show you a bit of examples how you can use the new product from Lumens together with the Dante AVH protocol and make your life easier doing installations. The first one is a high-end AV meeting room. And what does Lumens mean by a high-end AV meeting room? We say it's a meeting room where people use Dante audio. Why? Dante audio is known for its clear voice, good speakers. So we want to add that by good cameras, 4K cameras or full HD cameras, and let everything run over the IP network. Why do we want to let it run over the IP network? That means we are not fixed with extenders, 4 boxes behind each other who all need to manage something. No, we want to give you the ease of use of one single cable and the choice to position all of your products wherever you deem them fit. We want to start with a high-end meeting room where we have a single MTR in the room, where we have a lot of peripherals on the network, and we all want to combine them to the MTR. So as you can see, we have a television in the front of the room, and we have a MTR running Zoom, Teams, Google Meets. And then we have the OIP N60D Dante decoder. That unit is connected to the MTR over a single USB cable. And what will it do? So that OIP60D decoder that we talked about before is connected to the network. And the first thing it finds on its path is the TR68 Dante AVH camera. So what will happen? That camera is positioned now on top of the TV and will send a signal over the Dante AVH network to the box. The box will convert it into a USB-C signal. Okay, so we already have our video, but now we want audio. So on the same AV network, we also have a DSP who is then on his part connected to the ceiling microphone and its speakers. So the ceiling microphone sends a signal to the audio DSP, who sends to the OIP60D again a IP Dante AVH signal, and our box will convert it again into USB-C. So that means you have a single cable, a single USB-C cable to offer excellent video and excellent audio quality. And then, of course, we send over that same cable the audio from the far end side pegged to the audio DSP so he can play out the music over the speakers and echo cancel it if needed. For simplicity, we only put in one camera here. but we can connect multiple cameras to the box and switch if needed. So which use case, what are the key features of this product? So we are not constrained anymore by any cable length, even if it's USB or USB extenders. No, we're going to go over IP, so we can go over to around about 100 meters of cables. We do simultaneously audio and video over a single cable, and we convert everything from IP to USB. And now the last, again, to summarize the specs of this box. This box can take in 4K P60 Dante AV video and audio, convert it to USB-C, convert it to HDMI, powered over the USB cable or a PoE, and will take its place on the centralized management of the Dante platform. Now we had a standalone meeting room. Now we want to talk a bit more about a bring your own meeting room solution using the Dante platform. In here, we want to minimize the amount of USB cables that is needed. We want to minimize also the overall cables that are used to get your image from the table to the television. But again, using the high-end quality microphones, speakers, and cameras that are around the room, you just come in, clicking one USB-C cable, and start your meeting. So in here, again, we have the same drawing, but now we simplified the microphone and the DSP into one symbol, and we have again our camera in the front, and we have a laptop on the meeting table. As you can think, we now need two devices to be able to get every information from the camera and the microphone to the laptop, and afterwards to the TV. So to start, we take the encoder, and that's what I meant in the beginning. The encoder is a bit of a transcoder, because what will it do? It will take the Dante AV video coming from our cameras and convert it to a UVC signal and hand it to the laptop. It will do the same with the microphone or DSP audio, convert it to UAC and hand it out to the PC. Then you, as a user, or your user, can then incorporate that audio and video in a Teams call, Zoom call, Google Meets, whatever software that allows a webcam and a USB kind of audio and video speaker device. And afterwards, we will take over the USB-C, over the display port, we will take your whole image and send that over the internet to the decoder that is behind the television. And then we will take the whole experience from the meeting room table to the screen in the front. So to summarize, we take the existing equipment that is in the room, connected over IP, because of that can stand anywhere in the room. We will connect that to our encoder. He will convert it for you to a UVC or a UAC signal, and then we will send your laptop image to the decoder. As I said before, again, this is a one cable solution, Type-C. If your laptop or MTR doesn't support Type-C DisplayPort, we can still use the USB-C as your peripherals input, and we can send back to the decoder over HDMI. But if you have Type-C DisplayPort, it's not needed, and you don't need any software to run this example. Again, like Catherine says, at ISE, we like to talk to the people. So this feature is you will be able to see with us at the ISE show in Barcelona. And for the first 4,000 people who join our booth, they will get some Belgian beer and some jamon at the stand. So please don't forget to come to the Audinate and Lumens stand during the ISE show. I know normally this was the part that was first for Chester, then it was Andrew, and then 5 minutes ago it was appointed to me. So sorry if it will not go as fluent as before, but I want to now talk a bit more about the speaker tracking solution, our CamConnect Pro solution. So before what we did, the examples, we were just taking audio and video into a PC. But now we want to do something more with it. We want to listen to microphones and we want to pinpoint where the sound is coming from and then send the camera there to show the image. And why do we want to do this? This is all for meeting equity, that if you're in a meeting room with 20 people and on the other side you have 16 people on their own in their home office, everybody will be as big, so that there is an equity between all the participants. We want to do this as hands-free as possible, and we do this with an automated production. The name of this product is the CamConnect Pro. You see the device on the left side. So what will it do? It can switch multiple cameras by listening to multiple brands of microphones, and then it will switch the dedicated camera for that position to that person and hands you again a USB-C output so that anybody in the room who's speaking will be shown to the other side during the video call. What is speaker tracking? As you can see, these are 5 of our top colleagues in Taiwan. And because I am a sales guy, I can talk a lot about this product, but we want to show you how the device actually works. Don't take this as a it's not a high-end marketing movie. No, we wanted to just show you the real experience of 5 people in a room discussing about a product.
We are Lumens Taiwan team. I'm David, the head of sales for APAC region. Today, we will give you a live demo of our CamConnect Pro. And first, let me introduce Sam, our product manager of this product. Hi, Sam. Can you let us know what's the right setup we have in this room?
Okay, we are in one of the Lumens Taiwan office. We have installed a single slim microphone, CamConnect Pro, and the 2 Lumens camera at the front of the meeting room.
Thank you, Sam. Next, it is our marketing manager who will introduce what CamConnect can do for us.
Hi, this is Elaine. Well, CamConnect Pro works by taking positional data provided by the sitting array microphone. This allows it to automatically switch and focus the camera on whoever is currently speaking. The idea is to move away from using a wide-angle conferencing camera, which can make it very difficult to follow what is happening and who is talking.
That sounds awesome. So it gives you a multi-video conference. But what happens if people move their chairs during the meeting? Can CamConnect still focus on participants?
Hi, Debbie. This is Shani. Let me introduce the center stage function of CamConnect Pro. If you move position, our AI system adjusts the camera angle to keep the speaker in the middle of the frame. It's totally automatic and gives you a great result.
Thank you for the explanation. So, is there any manual control required during the meeting?
Hello, this is John. No, the meeting can just proceed normally. There's no manual adjustment required, no camera setup needed. This allows you to focus on the meeting itself, while remote participants can get a far more better AV experience. This brings a real meeting equity and a far more engaging session. That's the Lumens CamConnect Pro speaker tracking. We hope you found it interesting. Thank you.
All right, so I want to thank my Taiwanese friends to give a demo of the movie. So now, how does a typical room looks like where you have a CamConnect Pro as of it is today? So what we have multiple microphones on the network. They are all connected to, they will be connected on the network, and our CamConnect Pro is also connected to that same network. These microphones, 1, 2, 3, will communicate with our CamConnect Pro and will say, we get data from that angle or out of that zone. And then the CamConnect Pro will send a command to the camera who is designated for that area, that zone, or that angle, and we will send a preset. We will not only send the preset, we will send the camera there, receive the video from the camera, wait until it's there, of course, and then offer you a USB-C or a HDMI output, depending on what you desire, to go into a Teams or to go to a TV screen. When we talk about meeting equity, we have shown you some examples here. Before, we had on the left side, we had an auto framing camera where you frame a group of people and then, okay, somebody was standing up. You could see that it's speaking, that she's speaking. But now with the CamConnect, when she stands up, all right, we know she's in that area, so we will send a picture. The same thing in a big conference room. Again, using this, then more with tabletop microphones, we will be able to send the camera to the person who is speaking in the meeting room. When we talk about it's a hand-free solution, we mean, of course, there needs to be some setup in the start. So you need to set up the system to run. You need to set up the CamConnect to the different microphones, to the different cameras. But after that, it's a system that runs on its own. So it gives you a USB-C, you connect it, and you don't have to do anything anymore. Just come into the room, start your call, start your software that requires the video, and you will be able to get the video. This is now a brief shot of our user manual or user interface. I'm not going to discuss this too much, but what we want to show is you don't need to set up a whole lot of things in the CamConnect to start working. We just require you the name of the or the type of the microphone that you're using. We want the IP address, and for the rest, we set everything up in communication. We know on what port the microphone operates, how many times he wants a request for data. We will handle that in the backend. On the bottom, you just connect all the Lumens cameras that you would like to connect. And then on the right part, depending on the microphone, depending on how you want to set up your room, we can work with angles that you can specify a specific zone. We can set up rectangular zones that then send the preset, or in the latest firmware version, we can also send data to, depending on an XYZ location of a person. You don't need to set up a preset. We will send the camera in that direction and he will find the person. There are also a bit of specific settings like how long do you want somebody to talk? What happens if two people talk? What happens if nobody talks? These things you need to set up. And then again, you start voice tracking and it all works. This slide shows you that you don't need any a specific type of cameras that has intelligence inside. No, it's the AI inside of our box that makes every of our cameras a tracking camera. So it's basically the box who will control the cameras. And this is ideal, of course, also at universities where you have a teacher, a presenter in the front. You can have questions from the students. Then the student just needs to ask his question. He will be visible while the teacher or the professor is doing his job. The cameras will track him or her wherever she is standing. And then where have we installed this equipment? Of course, in meeting spaces, that's for sure. In large boardrooms, where you want to have also a lively discussion, we can set up a side-by-side. But for sure, also in training suites, where you have different areas where teachers want to explain something, you don't need to manually push a button to switch a camera. No, wherever you're standing, we will send the camera in your way. You do your job, and you don't need to worry about, am I good in shot or not? No, the camera system will do it. And then also for sure in city councils and courtrooms, we have installed many of these devices. And then as a last, you see an overview of all the brands that we are working with. So you see all major brands are in here. We have Audio-Technica, Sennheiser, Shure, and Yamaha. Why do we call these brands? Because of course they are talking also Dante AV, Dante language. So because on the next slide you see that before I was talking only about video, but we will also add Dante onto the CamConnect platform. And that means that we're not only taking the video in, do the video switching, but we can again offer you a Dante enabled audio and video platform. And by using Dante, we can also do something special in larger meeting rooms where we say, okay, I have one meeting room, I have two smaller meeting rooms, and sometimes I want to use them as a boardroom. So you see here, we have a boardroom, two ceiling microphones, and we have a DSP who now sends the audio signal to our CamConnect Pro. But for most of the time, you don't want a big boardroom. No, you want two divided meeting rooms. So this is what we call profiles and layouts into our CamConnect. So we can change the microphones that the CamConnect is listening to and the cameras that he's controlling on your wish. So if you say, I have a big room and from time to time I want to divide it, we can call different profiles and so suit better your need. And this is then the last slide. This is the similar slide as what we showed in the beginning of the CamConnect, but now we show you that before we had a USB cable coming from the audio DSP to the MTR. Now the Dante AVH audio and Dante AVH video from the cameras and audio from the DSP will come into the CamConnect and will be offered to the MTR as a single USB cable. And now, as a last, I would like to hand out the presenter role to my good friend Dalton to talk about the next generation of BYOM.
Thank you, Joris. So a couple points that I have is the interoperability that Dante offers is key to why we are using it to deploy. With the single network infrastructure, as Catherine has mentioned and you have mentioned, Joris, it makes for installation and design extremely easy. We don't need several signal paths or different types of transport methods. We have one single network infrastructure that all of our audio and video devices are communicating over. It adds incredible flexibility in design. As you can see in this slide, so many manufacturers support Dante. So while we lead with Lumens, in all of those, if there are existing manufacturers or existing brands, we can easily incorporate those into any design, which adds to the cross-compatibility that Dante offers. Whether we're using microphones or cameras that are involving microphones going to a DSP or a computer as an endpoint, whatever that design looks like, leveraging Dante is an easy way to pull all of those endpoints together. And bridging analog and digital sources or endpoints is also extremely easy with the Dante platform. As you mentioned with the USB encoders, USB is a pain, right? And being able to leverage an IP infrastructure to send those USB signal paths, we can go from any endpoint to any PC or multiple PCs, as the Q&A has, some of the questions have come up. You can leverage IP for multicasting to go to multiple endpoints. So if you have a true BYOM environment that you need to go to 2 or 3 or 4 laptops or a divisible room that has several connection points, we don't need a very complex USB distribution system. We can leverage that IP distribution and go to multiple endpoints and offer that USB connectivity. And how we're using it in a conference room, just as I've mentioned, for that ease of USB connectivity, leveraging the Lumens decoders, we can offer that USB connectivity that we don't need cumbersome USB signal paths that we're extending from a rack room into a conference room table or into multiple wall plates or a podium. We can leverage that Dante network to offer that ease of USB connectivity. The cabling is simple. We've got one network cable that can run up to 100 meters. We don't have that limitation of 3 to 5 meters with a USB connection. We can run it through wall plates, or we can run it through architectural connectivity in a table or a podium and offer that ease of use with that USB connectivity. There's confidence with Dante. As Catherine mentioned with Dante Controller, we can see any of those endpoints as they're live on the network in real time. So if there is an issue with some USB location, we can at least look on the network and see if that device is on the network and if it is live and that signal is routing. It offers centralized control. So any AV or IT manager can see all of those endpoints anywhere on the network in real time through Dante's software. That connectivity is awesome. We can put USB connectivity in one or multiple locations. We don't have USB headaches of extensions or working with certain people's laptops versus others. The decoder offers a very simple USB connectivity at any location or multiple locations. And that's what I've got. I'll throw it back to you, Joris.
Okay, no, thank you very much. I think this concludes the webinar or the, oh no, yeah, of course. If you have any question, anything related that has not been solved here, ask it now, or you can always contact us, our team, and we will help you later on with any question you have. But for now, I would like to thank you again and see if there are any questions which we can answer for you.
Yeah, great discussion so far, and there have been a ton of questions coming in, and I know Dalton has been busy answering some of those in chat. Really appreciate that, Dalton. And one of the first questions that I'll ask, Dalton, I think you already addressed, but maybe I'll kick that back to you because it was an interesting one. Let me just find it here. It was from David, who was wondering how many microphones like Shure MXA 920 and cameras can you use in the same space?
Yeah, so I'll answer that one again. I pulled and confirmed from Lumens website, but the AI box specifically can support up to 4 IP cameras and 24 microphone arrays. So you can bring in multiple microphones, whether that be in a divisible system or in a very large conference room. We can use multiple microphone arrays, and each array offers their telemetry that can be triggered or that can trigger multiple camera switching or camera presets. So if you're in a small boardroom, a large conference room, a very large divisible training room, size is the limit, or there is no size limit. You can put the AI box or multiple AI boxes. I don't know if it was David's question or another question that asked how many AI boxes could be used in one system. You could build a system with multiple AI boxes that are running their own configuration. So if one side of the room has front-facing cameras and the other side of the room is more of a presenter mode with rear-facing cameras, you can configure those AI boxes separately, but still running on the same network infrastructure.
Okay, super. This next question is for Catherine. Jamel's wondering, will there be any significant changes that will be coming from the new Dante controller this year? Anything on the public roadmap that you guys are talking about?
Yeah, so we've previewed a new version of Dante Controller at a couple shows. There aren't actually any really new significant changes happening to that. It's mostly a visual refresh, especially for those folks in live entertainment wanted kind of a dark mode for the theaters. I prefer a dark mode to look at anyway. There's a couple new AV configuration features that are getting added in with that release. And then a future release coming down the road would be probably like January timeframe, would be to support the media encryption functionality with icons for that sort of thing.
Okay. All right, super. Hey, another question that came in here from Board, who's wondering, is Dante working on IPv6 rather than IPv4? And what would be the benefits of one versus the other?
So Dante uses IPv4, just because that's currently how it's configured.
Okay, super. Let's see. A question here from Monica, wondering about, are there any security issues going over IP for federal government applications? Are there sort of, different verticals that, different solutions are recommended for?
I can speak to that, I guess, if no one else wants to. Yeah, so there aren't typically any issues going over IP. Something you might find in really secure places if you want to use IP networking is that the network has to be standalone and that it can't touch the outside world. So solutions like Dante Director might not be okay to use, or you might not be able to have products that need to be separately licensed that require like hitting the internet to be licensed. So then, conveniently all of your hardware products come with Dante already licensed on them. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Excellent. We had a question from Tom saying, I joined late, but will there be a recording available? Yes, there will. We'll send that out in 24 to 48 hours once that's available. Eric is wondering, are there any cameras that can change my pajamas into a business suit with AI? Thanks for that question. Let's see. And feel free to to speak up if you guys see a question in here, because there's so many questions that have come in. This is fantastic. But if you guys see one that you'd really like to talk about, just yell it out. There's one here from Brad wondering if can the decoders be synced for use of multiple displays side by side?
Yeah, so for that, I can tell you we will bring out on the OIP60D, we will bring out a free routing software who will then be able to, you get your source, you will have to say, I have a multi-viewer, and then it will be able to set up the OIP60Ds basically to bring in, sorry, I'm blanked with the word, but I mean, we can make multiple TVs become into one big picture. Sorry, it's 7 o'clock where I am. I don't know, my brain just
time for that Belgian beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say also with some of the other Dante AV solutions, like with AV Ultra, it's using PTP for the video sync as well. We're not with Dante AVH today, but that is something we're working on behind the scenes to get that synced as well for multiple displays.
Okay, excellent. Hey, there's a question,
and there's a lot of questions that are. No, there's a lot of questions that are coming in on the tracking features of the AI box, switching between cameras and gesture control and AI box. There, and all the tracking methods work in session. So on the AI box will trigger based off of telemetry, however you've configured it, whether that's camera switching or if that's camera preset recall. Either one, the AI box will be triggering those. Additionally, you can use any third-party control system to trigger presets on a camera as well as either an override to the AI box, or if you want that manual control, if the AI box is switching too aggressively, or if you haven't configured it properly, or whatever it is, third-party control can be added as an additional layer to the AI box. So there are many different ways of configuring it, and I would say to reach out to Lumens if you want Lumens support in any design, or if you want to know how an integrator is throwing it in. We've integrated several of these AI boxes into our systems. I'm happy to answer those, but there were several questions that were coming in, and all of that control ability can be stacked on top of each other.
Awesome. Thanks for flagging those, Dalton. Appreciate it. Another question here comes from Tom, who's wondering, how many profiles can you store on the Cam Connect? Anybody want to grab that one?
Yeah. So there are a large number. Basically, there is no limit to how many profiles you can do. But if you want to switch automatically, and what do I mean automatically? Within 10 seconds, 15 seconds, there are 8 profiles that you can set up and that you can recall, that the device doesn't need to do a reboot. If you go higher than 8, it will need to do a reboot. But if you have 8 profiles, it will stay on. It will just recall the new profile, connect to the cameras, connect to the microphone, and start immediately.
Super. All right, great. Another question here from Stin, who's asking, does Cam Connect support name overlay?
At the moment, if it's a lower thirds, no. Oh, go for it. Yours.
No. Yeah, go, Dalto, go.
I was going to plug the Lumens lecture capture system does do that. So from the AI box natively, no, there is no image overlay, but you could integrate either an AI box into the lecture capture system and apply lower thirds on top of any of your video. There was also another question of multiple sources and ISO recordings. The AI box does not support any ISO recordings, but again, a lecture capture system could support that. And with the AI box, you have either a USB output or an HDMI video output that you could then take into a lecture capture system to gain those ISO recordings.
Super. Another question from Borge, who's saying, do we get power over the USB-C cable?
With the current version of the encoder we're launching, there's no power because we take the PoE from the network, so there is no spare power to power a laptop on the meeting room table. But that's a flag that has been waved to our engineers in Taiwan.
Okay. We're getting pretty close to time here, but there's a great question from Paul that'll help us kind of start to wrap up. Paul's asking, how is the Dante license purchased?
So if you're looking at all the devices from Lumens that will have the name Dante AVH behind it, that means the license will be already included in the device. So for example, the OIP N60D Dante, that will be a Dante enabled license device, so you don't need to buy any license separately.
Okay. All right, excellent. And probably last question, just if people wanted to get started or learn more, you guys have any recommendations or best practices there? And let me turn that to Catherine first, and then maybe go to Dalton and then yours.
Sure. So on the Dante page, which is now getdante.com, we have a product catalog which has a Dante enabled filter, a Dante AV enabled filter. So if you're looking specifically for Dante video devices, you can check that out. They're tagged with AVH or the ones that all kind of work together with the codec. So that's a great place, as well as Dante certification training. Your Dante video devices work exactly like your Dante audio devices on the network. So they'll all show up in Dante controller. Once you know how to use Dante, you already know how to use Dante video. So Dante certification is great too. And you can find links to that from our webpage.
Okay, excellent. And Dalton, if people wanted to get in touch with you guys or learn more about your services, where would they go?
If they want our services, they can go to tvsproslc.com. And from there, they could reach out to any one of us. You could request demos if anybody wants a demo of any of these equipment. We're happy to do that. We're happy to supply that. To reiterate what Catherine said, the Dante certifications and Dante education is great. It's definitely a wonderful first place to start. If you want product training or product demos, reach out to either your Lumen sales rep, myself. I'm always happy to help out if anybody has any questions on integration.
Awesome. And yours, any recommendations for people as far as getting started?
To be honest, that's the beauty of Dante AVH and Dante AVH video. I can just copy paste whatever Catherine said in the beginning, because there are already so many people, who have the certification on audio, And basically, the video is an enhancement on the audio and doesn't require any more study. So for more information, please email Catherine. It's Catherine. No, the email is not on there, but you can email Catherine.
I'm going on leave. You can't email me right now.
No.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, Catherine, Joris, Dalton, thank you all so much. It's been a great presentation, a lot of fun too. Really, really appreciate your time and your insights here. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.
All right. And with that, on behalf of the AV technology team, I want to thank Audinate's Dante and Lumens for making this event possible. And I also want to do our Amazon gift card prize drawing. The winner of that gift card today is Greg Spidell from California. So congratulations to Greg. We'll be in touch to get you your card. Okay, well, thanks everybody for joining us. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate all your great questions. And of course, I should have mentioned all those questions are going to go to the teams here today. So if we didn't get to your question today, look for some follow-up from folks. But that's going to conclude today's event. Have a fantastic rest of your day.